Today we're talking all about the town of Haleiwa in Hawaii. My family and I, we just love Haleiwa. It's this charming, laid-back beach town on the north shore of Oahu. It has amazing beaches, wonderful local culture, and it's got some of the best surfing in the world. Haleiwa is definitely a slice of paradise that steals a lot of hearts. What's it really like to live in Haleiwa compared to the rest of Oahu? And definitely stick around to the very end because I'm going to share with you a couple of my family's favorite spots where we've been going for years. Aloha and welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Chris Shomo, real estate agent and founder of Home Sweet Home Hawaii Real Estate, brokered by eXp Realty. Today, we're talking about the pros and cons of living in Haleiwa so you can decide if this town is right for you. First, the location. Haleiwa is a historic town. It's located on the fabled north shore of Oahu. It sits on the coast about 11 or 12 miles west of Turtle Bay Resort, which is on the very northern tip of Oahu. And it's just a couple miles northeast of Waialua, which is a tiny, charming town that's mostly residential, but there's also a lot of agricultural and farmland as well. And it has an old sugar mill and some old school facilities. Now, since Haleiwa faces west, that means amazing sunsets over the ocean. And there are some historic sites. This town has its roots going all the way back to the 1900s, when the area was primarily focused on like sugar plantation industry. And today there are some cultural historic landmarks like the Haleiwa Rainbow Bridge that was built in 1921. And of course, probably what Haleiwa is most known for is its rich surfing history. The area is well known among surfers as the surfing capital of the world. It has some of the most famous beaches in the world, like the Banzai Pipeline and Sunset Beach, to name a couple. And of course, there's Waimea Bay. And the town itself is full of boutiques, local products, art galleries, lots of surf shops, and of course restaurants, food trucks, and plenty of shave ice. Okay, now going into the pros of living in Haleiwa, Hawaii. Pro number one, it is absolutely beautiful. Of course, I've got to say it, and I'm sure you could have guessed this would be on the top of the list. Living in Haleiwa means you are surrounded by stunning natural beauty, incredible beaches, world-class surf spots, hiking trails. It's just beautiful. You're also close to nature and the views are phenomenal. You've got ocean views, mountain views, and since it's on the west side, you get to witness incredible sunsets over the ocean. Pro number two are all the outdoor activities. Haleiwa kind of has it all in terms of surfing and water sports, and anything really to do with the beach life, fishing, hiking, camping, paddleboarding. There's also kayaking and boating, even horseback riding. And there's so many beach parks. Some of the best snorkeling of the entire island is right there at Sharks Cove. There's just so much. There's also a boat harbor right in the town of Haleiwa. That's where you're going to connect when you want to go diving with the sharks or head out for some deep sea fishing. I'd say it's pretty much safe to say that life in Haleiwa is mostly lived outdoors. Life tends to revolve around the beach, the ocean, and the outdoors. And pro number three, family-friendly, tight-knit community. The focus on family, or ohana as we call it, is everything. The town is small and people know each other, and this is especially appealing to people who want to be plugged in, embrace the culture, the lifestyle, and be part of the close-knit community. It's also a great place for kids to grow up with a strong connection to the outdoors and local culture. And there's also a true appreciation for the local economy, because people here love to support small businesses and just to be a part of something important together. And along with that note, sustainability is a running theme throughout the local businesses. Pro number four is the laid-back lifestyle. Haleiwa and pretty much all of North Shore is so laid back. I mean, you're never really going to see anybody sporting a tie or a dinner jacket, and rarely ever a collared shirt. For the guys, it's all t-shirts and board shorts and slippers, what we call flip-flops. And for the gals, comfy beachwear. And for some people, maybe it's even too laid back. Life is just more chill and moves slower than North Shore. You're away from the busyness of Honolulu, and it's just a very relaxed pace. It's really great in terms of simpler, more peaceful routine. Okay. Pro number five is the unique housing options. Haleiwa has almost everything when it comes to the range in types of properties and opportunities. It's currently not zoned for short-term nightly rentals. So if you're looking for a place to buy on the North Shore that you can rent out nightly, then you're gonna have to go further north up to Turtle Bay. But in Haleiwa, you have everything from beachside bungalows, plantation-style homes, to modern beachfront estates. There are also homes with character and privacy, and there are often larger lots than those found in Honolulu. Now, a lot of these homes were built in the 1950s and the 1960s, and of course some are newer, but there really isn't much new development there at all. And since there aren't planned urban developments that you typically find, say, like on the west side or the leeward side of the island, you don't typically have to deal with homeowners associations or HOAs. There is new development happening half-hour away at Turtle Bay, but in Haleiwa, the new home builds are usually going to be on private lots. The average price of a home is just under $2 million, and sold prices for homes over the past 2 years in Haleiwa, they range anywhere from $880,000 to about $14.5 million, and obviously that's a huge range. Haleiwa is also home to one of the top 10 most luxurious neighborhoods on all of Oahu, and that's Kawaii. This is a neighborhood between Waimea Bay and Haleiwa town, and it is the peak of luxury living on the North Shore. You could almost call it the Beverly Hills of North Shore, but it's not ostentatious in any way, but homes can get really pricey. Sold prices range anywhere from $1.5 million to $14.5 million in that neighborhood. As far as luxury beachside living on the North Shore, this is the spot. For number 6, rich cultural experience. Culture has been well preserved in Haleiwa. It's the local food, the local music, the community gatherings, the traditions, the local events. But it's even more than that. It even comes down to the design of the buildings. The state designated Haleiwa as a historical landmark back in 1980, which means any new builds, like new buildings, are required to reflect that same architectural style from the early 1900s, which is super cool. The town's history and traditions are also deeply rooted in everyday life, from the local cuisine to community events. For number 7, the weather. Haleiwa usually has a very moderate climate. It's cooler in the winter and hot in the summer. It's really lush because it gets plenty of rainfall, especially in the winter months. I guess the humidity could be a con if you prefer drier weather, but it's really not bad. Hey, by the way, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button for us and tap the bell for notifications. That way you can be first to know when we roll out a new video and keep you informed in the real estate market here in Hawaii. Now let's get into some of the cons of living in Haleiwa. Of course, no place is perfect, and Haleiwa certainly has its share of challenges. So let's go take a look at some of the cons. Con number 1, of course, is tourist traffic. Haleiwa is a hot spot for tourists, especially during peak seasons. And this of course means crowded beaches, traffic, long waits for the popular cafes and restaurants, and just considerable congestion in the town of Haleiwa itself. I mean, sometimes the traffic gets down to a crawl. When are the peak seasons? Well, it's not just in the summer when tourism hits its peak, but it's also in the winter. Yep, that's right. The winter time is when the big surf competitions are, because this is when we get the incredible waves. And we are talking as high as 20 feet to 30 feet, even 50 feet high. So on top of that, a lot of the weekend traffic is people who are headed to the North Shore just to see the waves. The Haleiwa town center is always buzzing with people, and there's always a massive line for the famous Matsumoto shave ice spot, which has been around since 1951. I mean, it's crazy. It's not uncommon for them to serve over 1,000 people a day. Even the burger place across the street, Kua'aina Burgers, can have a very long wait. And of course, you've got the famous shrimp trucks, which can also have really long lines. But all that said, you quickly learn these things and you're just going to find the local secrets so you can avoid all the congestion. Okay, con number 2 is the location. Haleiwa is pretty remote. It's about 30 miles from Honolulu, which means it's about a 45-minute to 90-minute drive to get into Honolulu in heavy traffic. As far as groceries go and grocery shopping in the main town of Haleiwa itself, there are only 2 grocery stores. There's a Malama Market and a Celestial Natural Foods. It's kind of like a mini Whole Foods. And as you head down to Sharks Cove, there's a food lane across the street. You can get pretty much everything you need at one of these places, but it's more expensive. Now there are some bigger stores between Haleiwa and Honolulu. There is a Costco in Waipahu that's about 30 minutes away. There's a Walmart also about half hour away in Mililani. If you're working at Schofield Barracks or Wheeler Army Airfield, it's not a bad commute to work at all. Only about 20-minute drive, maybe 30 minutes with some traffic. There's certainly a little bit of everything in the North Shore, But for things like medical appointments, entertainment, department stores, or whatever, you're going to be heading toward town for that. And the Honolulu airport is about a 35-minute drive without traffic. Also, make sure to allow time for traffic. I mean, getting in and out of Haleiwa can take some time, especially in the winter when the surf competitions are going and everyone is driving to the North Shore just to see the waves. And then again in the summer when tourism is at its peak. Con number 3 is limited housing inventory. Finding a home in Haleiwa can be challenging due to the limited housing inventory. The market can be competitive as well, and just make sure you take your time when you're looking to find a property that fits all your criteria. You definitely might need to have some flexibility on the home size, the age, or the condition. And one of the major draws of Haleiwa is the unique housing options. But with that, it's important to keep in mind the age and condition of the homes. Most of the properties here are older and definitely can require some renovations or updates. Now on the flip side, the charm of older homes and the possibility to customize them to your liking can be a big plus, a big bonus for some buyers, since you're not bound by HOA rules. Con number 4 is the high cost of living. Like pretty much all of Hawaii, the cost of living in Haleiwa is higher than on the mainland. But even compared to the rest of the island, if you're staying close, then everyday expenses like groceries and gas, they can get more expensive because of the town's isolated. But you can also save money by shopping at the local farmers markets and buying fresh produce directly from the source. And con number 5 is the options for schools. While Haleiwa's culture and lifestyle is very family friendly, the number of options for schooling is really quite limited. If this is important to you and if you have kids, then definitely look at the school options before you pull the trigger on a home here. You can check out niche.com or greatschools.org. Now I should mention this here too, that homeschooling is very common everywhere on Oahu. Oahu has a huge homeschooling community and there are many co-ops and homeschool groups and programs and events for homeschooling. There are even hybrid schools and charter schools, and non-traditional schooling is popular and it's really a big deal here. And if you're worried about your kids missing out on athletic programs at schools, there are tons of club sports for them. Con number 6 is career opportunities. Haleiwa and the surrounding areas are mostly retail shops, cafes, and restaurants. Then there's Adult Plantation, and you have Schofield Barracks and Wheeler Army Airfield that are not too far away. But other than that, the larger employees are further away and career opportunities in Haleiwa are minimal. Okay, you stuck around and here it is. A couple of my family's absolute favorite spots here in Haleiwa. Our favorite spot for Sunday lunch is the Haleiwa Beach House. It's right across from the beach. It's a great spot for sunset. There's always a nice variety on the menu and the dishes are just delicious. It's often a first choice for us when we want to celebrate a special day. Okay, the second spot I wanted to mention is this great outdoor cafe called Farm to Barn. Over the years, they've added a lot of picnic tables. The food is delicious. Sometimes they have live music and there are tons of healthy options and it's kind of set back in from all the buzz of Haleiwa town, even though it's right there in town. It's really good to take some time to visit and explore Haleiwa and really get to know the town and the people. Talk to the locals, spend some time experiencing daily life here, and think about what you might want in a home in a community. If you have any questions about Haleiwa or have any questions about real estate in Hawaii in general, reach out to us. Whether your move is in 9 days or 9 months, we've got you covered. Feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, or send me a text, or schedule a one-on-one Zoom chat. Here at Home Sweet Home Hawaii, we're here to make your move as smooth and stress-free as possible. Mahalo for watching, and until next time, aloha.